All right. So, welcome to Hindsight. This is the martial arts podcast where we talk about, most day to day events, sometimes violent, sometimes not. The point of the show is basically to give a martial arts perspective or a self defense perspective on, current events. So, host is normally hosted by Sensei Buddha. Unfortunately, Sensei Buddha is indisposed at the moment, and our featured guest, or featured host, I should say, today is Mr. Suave. And by the way, I'm a beat physicist. Welcome, Mr. Suave. Thanks for coming on.
Beat physicist, thanks for the introduction. Blessed and having me on the show here. Yeah, I'm just filling in for the sensei so he gets back and resume as normal. I hope to be a regular guest with the crew here, and we're gonna give you our perspective on what we see, what we do not to do, just what's going on in the world.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. So, if you don't mind, Mr. Suave, would you like to tell our listeners, what your background is, just a little bit about yourself? You don't have to give too much detail.
A little bit about Mr. Suave. He's a 007, so he can't give all his information out there.
All right.
I got some international experience dealing with international folks. Got law enforcement background, so there were law enforcement situations in correctional settings, outside settings as well. Got trained in firearms, got some combat, so I got some training on my background. So that's it's just coming from a different perspective than it would be from the sensei, who was more likely all skilled.
Yes, sir. Okay, all right. Well, I guess I'll start us off today by talking about two videos in particular, but we'll start with one video. And if you could take us through the video, Mr. Suave, start with whichever one you want. But there were two videos that were floating around the internet, maybe a week ago or so. But yeah, take it away.
All right. So the first video, I know we have I had seen it before. I didn't know that's the video we were talking about.
Okay.
So when I just saw it this morning, I was like, okay, I know what the video we're talking about. Now this video is about a minute long clip. I think somebody, instead of helping, they probably YouTubed it, find it, or some nonsense like that. This is where we live in voyeurism now. Instead of helping, they just want to get everything on camera for the 15 minutes of fame. That's how I feel about it. But the exact details, people go back and forth saying this was a rapper and this was a videographer, and other people saying this was a white supremacist and he came to this neighborhood trying to shoot him up. But it's a white gentleman. He's in this neighborhood, and you apparently see these two black individuals charging him, and you see AK-47. What they say is allegedly AK-47. Could be something different. It does have the banana clip, so I'm not, from the video, I'm not 100% sure if it's AK. Could be Hungarian AK. Could be something different. So I'm not going to go ahead and say the exact type of gun it is. But you see him pull it out.
Well, who pulls it out? The white gentleman or
the white gentleman? The white gentleman pulls it out, and you see the two black dudes, the two brothers. They go on, jump on him, pursue him, try to keep him from shooting. And then there's one person recording. Now there's nobody else outside, nobody else looking through the windows at all. So I don't know the details of why he pulled it out, why he went over there with a gun of that caliber, a high powered assault rifle. For what reason? I have no idea. It can't be good at all. Just my assumption and speculation just based off of that. Now I would like to say, if you see somebody come into your neighborhood like that, call the cops. Don't try to run them. Don't try to bum rush them. I don't care what type of training you have. His finger could just slip, and that trigger could be like a head trigger, and it could just start shooting all over the place. Those bullets are 2, 3 rounds. They're going through some walls, hitting innocent people in the house.
Oh, okay. So I should also mention, there's probably many of our listeners don't may not know the terminology. You said 223 rounds.
Yeah, it's a caliber of round ammunition. Yeah, you got 9 millimeter, 380, 45 ACP, 40 ACP, 223 round, which is a rifle round. You got the 22 long, which is another rifle round. So just a little terminology for the listeners.
Okay. Okay.
But those, regular drywall, those bullets are going through. That's what they're using overseas, and when fighting wars, using 223 rounds. It's a very common round. You can buy it very easily, but it's a high-powered round.
Mm. Okay.
Even when you go to a gun range, you just can't go to a normal gun range. Just a backstop, which is, where you're shooting, that stops all the bullets from going outside. You have to have a certain area just for that, so it doesn't go through that and goes through the back and hit some innocent bystanders. So that in that area, it could have done a lot of damage. So I'm glad it didn't go off. Now, all you see is you start seeing a scuffle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, call the police if you saw this first off. They saw a scuffle. The two dudes, I commend them that, I guess the dude was scared. He didn't know how to operate it. I don't know if it kind of looked like they might have pulled him out of the car he was in.
Mm.
But they grabbed the barrel, and you want to try to grab that gun guard where the trigger is, so they can keep their finger from going on it. You can't really see if they did that or not. I just know they had the barrel, and they were trying to hold the barrel, control the barrel, which is good. But, had he got his finger there, he could have started shooting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a struggle like that. The barrel did cross his body a couple times. Actually, both their bodies a couple times. I'm thinking that's why either one was really scared to pull the trigger. But in the end, it was able to put it to the ground, lock up his arms, lock the gun down to the floor, and end it. At the end of the video, the guy knew him because he started calling him by name. That's what I'm saying. This got to be more personal than what we know, just off a video feed. Because he started calling, the white guy started calling the brother by his name because he knew him. You know what I mean? He's like, I wasn't going to shoot anybody. I'm not trying to shoot anybody. But, you don't just come to somebody's house with that for no reason. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'd say the way they stopped the situation, it was, I'm pretty sure that was all instinct,
Mm.
So they just off of instinct with no training. I think they did pretty good. Had they had better training, for one, they probably wouldn't have ran on them. If you're thinking of your neighbors, families, let's say some kids was outside, grandma's walking outside, somebody's outside running, maybe instinct would have kicked in for me. Instinct would have kicked in, and I would have tried to approach him a little. I think got there quick. I would approach him quicker and probably hit to the groin, hit to the throat, grab the barrel and that gun guard, like I said, the trigger guard, and then just try to, a quick rotation about like 360 circle on his arms. His arms would have locked off and broke, and he would have had control of that firearm. Not to point it at him now, because now the cop showed up. Now they would see you with the firearm, and they might be able to put charges on you until they cleared you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you just take that away and toss it. Pretty sure they know how to dismantle it. But you just take control of that, put it down the side, have that dude kick rocks.
Mm.
Now, another scenario, being law enforcement, I believe this was in Dallas. No, I'm sorry, that's other video. I'm not sure where this was located, but let's say this was in a gun state, like Texas, Florida. If I had my firearm on me, concealed, I'm a concealed carrier. A lot of people concealed carriers.
Okay, so we're going to the next video now, video number 2.
No.
Oh.
No, we're still going on the first.
Oh, we're still on them. Okay.
And I'm saying this another scenario is if I have my firearm on me, I'm a concealed carrier.
Mm-hmm.
If I see this guy pulling a gun on me, I'm a pull and draw. And just in training alone, one of the worst places you could be in a gunfight is you being inside the car, because it's like a metal coffin. You can't maneuver. That's why they usually teach you see in movies, the cop gets out or the people get out and shoot around the cars and guard.
Mm-hmm.
But you just sitting in the car trying to shoot out. That's like a metal coffin. You have nowhere to move. You're just locked in that position.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's, had I had my firearm, I would have lit him up. Once I saw that barrel, once I saw him trying to struggle against the car, it just would have been game over. And just like we train, you shoot center mass right to the chest, and then that would have been that.
Okay.
Now, B physicist, what's your thoughts on the video, the first video?
Yeah, that was it was a little shocking to see. Yeah, I agree with you on how the gentleman handled it. What I would say though is that yeah, it's hard to look at, and Sensei Buddha talks a lot about your flight, your fight or flight type reactions, and I'm looking at it from just a regular person's perspective, without no law enforcement, no tactical training really. So when something like that happens, usually your instinct is just to run, get out of there, whatever. And what's interesting about, I guess, martial arts, and Sensei Buddha talks about this, is that the reason you train in the arts is you practice so that those, fight or flight, you can choose the perfect, you choose, I guess not the perfect, you choose the best.
The best option.
Yeah, the best option. Do you fight or do you flight? Sometimes you don't have, very long to, think about it. You just got to react. And, and I haven't, there was a little, section where you don't see what's going on at first, but obviously in this case, they chose to fight, and, they were successful. Yeah. So, I think, hey, they, I don't think anybody died or anything like that, but, hopefully, they got them subdued, called the proper authorities, and, got on with their lives.
Now, don't everybody go fighting. Don't
Yeah.
go fighting everybody who got a assault rifle on them.
Yeah. 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 Okay, yeah. So, I think, let's talk about this video number 2.
Okay.
You want to take us through that, Mr. Suave?
Well, you know what? Let me hear your perspective on it first, coming from just a normal citizen, and then I can add on to that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Let me see what you got from it, and I'll tell you what I got from it.
Okay, yeah. So, being from growing up in a sort of metropolitan area, you see situations like this all the time. You're on the bus, you're on the train, you're minding your own business, and then a crazy person comes on and just starts yelling or starts acting a fool, or a group of crazy people come on the train or bus and start acting a fool. And, one of the things, I usually do, some other people do, is you try to pick a seat as close to the exit as possible, just in case, something were to happen. You just think, what's the easiest or fastest way to get out of here, just in case things happen.
Okay, so Brother B, Professor Physicist, is a thinker, so he's always thinking of casing out his scenario before he enters an environment. I like that. Continue.
All right. So let me go through it now. It's a train, I think, and an older gentleman is on the train, and a group of kids are also on the train. And from the description of the video, it says that he told them to stop smoking. So of course, there's probably smoking is not allowed. And this being an elder gentleman, he's speaking to they look like teenagers, and he's telling them, hey, stop smoking, put that out, kind of in a sort of a parental kind of way. There's a quarrel ensues, and then they kind of creep towards him and surround him, kind of, basically in a semicircle. He's in his seat, and then
Okay.
from what I remember, an attack happens. So, they, kick, punch, whatever. Looks like a lot of them. Like it could be 7 to 10 of them. Um, and he's having a hard time. And finally the train stops. He's able to get off the train. And then they hit him some more. Kicks, punches. He's basically facing a barrage of punches and kicks. He gets back up. They, get back onto the train. He tries to get back on the train himself. And then they resume the assault back on the platform, the train platform. And somebody pulls the skateboard out of some place. A skateboard comes out of nowhere. I wouldn't say nowhere, but and then he gets hit I think in the head with a skateboard and is disoriented. And then they get back on the train. He's losing his balance, and I think that's where the video ends. So that's basically, what happens. So I'm gonna go back, to the train. Of course, you try to pick a spot close to the exit. But what happens is when you see people start to inch closer to you, that's, you don't keep still, in my opinion. When he saw them sort of kind of trying to surround him, don't let them cut off your path. Don't let them cut off that walkway to any of the exits either. At least get into the walkway, in my opinion.
Like you were saying before, so like you were saying before, or what Sensei Buddha be talking about, keep your fight or flight options open instead of closing them off, and now all you can do is fight.
Right. And yeah, so that's the I guess, the tactical aspect, in my opinion. When you want to try to get out of there or whatever. And when they inch close, I mean, you got I guess in this case you kind of got to time it right. So if you know that your next stop is coming, and of course the train conductor will he'll announce the stop, or you'll feel the train slowing down, and then there's a sound. It'll be like a bell, like a ding. If I mean, this is a bit advanced, but you could, if you time your punch right, or you time your rush right to push somebody down, push a few people down and run out of the train, that's what, I consider that, an option too.
Part of you. Oh yeah, that's good.
Yeah. But in this case, again, those are both, physical options. But, there's also the verbal aspect of it as well, where you just try to talk your way out of it. Just, hey, I'm sorry, hey, my bad, I apologize, whatever, swallow your pride, humble yourself, and say, hey, I'm sorry, I apologize, my fault, guys, and try to, say, hey, I was just trying to yada, 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 and, you try to do some verbal judo to get out of the situation.
Use that knowledge over these kids. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, that was my take. What do you think about it?
All right. I'm gonna go the same route. Like I said on the other one, not playing devil's advocate or anything, but I just, we just don't know what. Even though the video says the guy asked him to stop smoking, we don't really know what transpired. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But what we do see in the video is it's like a onslaught of a bunch of little kids or jits, or whatever you want to call them, the youth around this one dude. And nobody else happens to be on the train for some reason. If it is, in fact, I think it is a train.
Mm-hmm.
And they say this one's based off of Dallas, supposedly.
Yeah.
Allegedly. If you see things going, if he said that and you see things going awry, like I said, like you were saying earlier, keep that fight or flight option open. Sitting there, exit, watch the door. You know how long the time you should take to get to your next stop. You could just got up, bolted, Keep those options available. If he saw it was going to start progressing, he could have called law enforcement and said, hey, I'm about to go on this next stop. I know in some states, let's say Florida, for instance, 3 or more people involved in a beating or an assault, that's considered gang activity. So that can actually hit all those kids with gang activity charges for the state of Florida. So that, that's, knowing some of the laws like that, you can be like, okay, this is the route they want to go. I'm gonna put cases on all of them if they really put their hands on me, because now gang activity is a lot more, stringent on the law books than just a regular assault per person.
Right.
So that could have made everybody an accomplice. And the code of omerta, I love The Godfather, reading that. The code of loyalty, that's not realistic. You can get one of them kids in a room, snitch on everybody. So that's I'm always gonna say, try to get law enforcement involved, let the professionals handle it. Hopefully, even though in the light of what happens nowadays, how all our young brothers and sisters, black, white, Spanish, they're just getting gunned down by the law enforcement, which is unfortunate, and that could have easily turned into that. But get them guys involved, they would have came with a bunch of people, and situation pretty sure would have got shut down immediately. But now, what he could have done, because it seemed they cut him off pretty fast, and he really couldn't move, and he was an older gentleman. I was watching the whole video. These are kids, teenagers, all going off, fueling off of each other, probably trying to impress the girl, even though you see one of the girls was one of the main ones getting licks in. They had another guy hanging on the top, kept throwing his kicks on the guy's head. Yeah. He absorbed all of that until his actually came off, and I think they threw him out, or he tried to walk out, and they continued beating him outside while the others was holding the door, so they could stay on their train. So this guy didn't get knocked out. He might have been a little lightheaded or seeing doubles, but he didn't get rocked. There wasn't hitting hard enough from what I saw. I mean, you don't know, in any situation, any of these kids could have been an Iron Mike and it just hit him and laid him out automatic. But in the video, that didn't happen. He was able to hold his ground and was just, cover, protecting your vitals, protect that chin, protect that throat, so they can't get you. Luckily, none of these kids had a viable weapon, even though they had a multi-use weapon. Like, they turned that skateboard into a weapon. They turned the guardrails where, you're just holding on so you don't fall off the train when it's moving. They use that for propulsion so they could keep kicking the dude in the head while the other ones are beating them, so they, they were just using, they were going in on this gentleman, and it was unnecessary. Had he maybe had a little training, or even just went off pure adrenaline, he probably could have took 3 or 4 of those kids out. A nice placed right hand to the throat, right hand to the chest or the sternum. Would have put 2 or 3 of them kids down, and it would have made all the other kids think, okay, this dude is the real deal. Maybe we want to step back from this dude, or it could have escalated it more, But once they're hitting you, you got to do something. You're allowed to defend yourself. There's a video on YouTube. Maybe we could look it up another time we do one of these podcasts. They surround this one kid, and he's in a circle, and he whips like 6 dudes. He whips them all.
Whoa.
And then you just see them all on the floor. It almost looks like a scene of Jet Li or Bruce Lee. He keeps coming at him in a circle. And they do a martial arts, and he lays them out.
Well, that's motivation to train in the martial arts. Definitely.
Oh, yeah. I know Sensei Buddha, he just saw so many, since he's more versed in the martial arts world, I'm pretty sure he saw so many combinations or openings that I could have probably took 2 or 3, or, I practice a little Aikido, throwing, using an opponent's body weight or momentum against them. You could have just thrown this kid to the other kid, had an opening there and try to escape, and then put your back to the wall, so you don't got nobody coming from behind you. There's a lot of different tactics that he could have used, or someone with training could have had. But then the thing is, the fight went outside, and it seemed like they was finished with their onslaught. The adrenaline was all over. They got their foolish pride. But the guy got up. He was stumbling back, I guess trying to get back onto the train because that wasn't his stop. And then that's when they really beat him pretty bad, and they put the skateboard to his body and head, and that's when he looked like he really kind of got knocked out or rocked for a little bit, because he was moving, but he wasn't really moving like he was before. And it was just I like to say, and I'm a little old school, but like it was like the Hynde or Chung Lee barrage, like you said. There's 1,000 kicks or punches coming, and you know.
Okay, for those who don't know, those two are video game characters from the Street Fighter, the Street Fighter game series. I'm just, let me just put that out there for those who don't know.
Do your research. Yeah, so I think that's when the video really took a bad turn. I think before, even though it looked bad, I don't think he was that hurt. But that at the second, when they finally did the second assault on the gentleman, that's when it really got bad. Cause that's when they really started using that skateboard in the right tool in the right place. Mm. But that's like I said, that's my take on it. I said there's just so many different scenarios where it could have went. Like I said, he could have like I said, the one dude, he could have even, this was a fight. There's no, I remember growing up, used to say, hey, when you're fighting another man, there's certain areas you don't hit him, like in the eyes or the groin. Mm-hmm. Forget all that, man. This is a fight. This ain't a fair fight. You go for the most vulnerable parts. All those dudes would have got punched right in their groin, or right off the rip, right? Punch or a straight kick right there. They would have dropped. That would have took out 2 or 3 attackers. Nice punch to the throat, even eye pokes, that would have stunned us, dazed a couple of them. The females that wanted to be tough, even a backhand would have stopped that.
Oh boy!
You gotta go as nasty and as grimy as they can.
Well, okay, a backhand where? I mean, to what part of the anatomy?
Right to the face.
Oh, okay.
You can do an up thrust right in the nose. It's so many options. So many options. Okay. If he had to fight, there was no flight. He had to fight. So he had to fight. So I said all the males, I would have started hitting with grind shots because like I said, it didn't look like they were hitting hard. So you would have been able to eat those. Your adrenaline would have kept all those hits until 20, 30 minutes, and you cool down. So it would have been a straight grind shot. Would have went at a grind throat, and just throwing a lot of people out the way. Try to look for my flight because it's just if you're one person, you're not going to be able to maintain all that stamina as opposed to those 9, 10 kids because each one could come on and off, gather the energy, and keep coming back at you.
Right.
Yeah. So now that's my take on it. I know Sensei Buddha, like I said, he got a lot more training for situations like that, situational training. So he'd have even more on it. So, maybe he could touch on it next time we do the podcast, or what he would have done, or, all the angles. I'm pretty sure he was salivating like, oh man, I would have did this, I would have done that. And I know sometimes brother Sensei Buddha walk around with that Kubaton, that's another option. What if I had my firearm, 2 of those kids would have got hit right in the chest or right off the back, and that would have stopped everything. After that first shot, everything would have stopped. Mm. So that's the thing. If this was in Dallas, that's a gun-toting state. You got to assume everybody has a firearm there. So you just can't take these chances like that. That many people jumping on you, you're in fear for your life. If you got a daughter or a wife to go home to, these kids hitting you, you don't know what their intentions are. They're just here to beat you, or they're just going to go on a bloodthirst and try to kill you. You don't know.
Right. Yes.
So that'd be a perfect defense for standing your ground because you was in fear for your life.
Yes, sir.
Seeing that savage beating, they would have said, yeah, you're 100% right.
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah. I think we've covered as much as we could cover on those 2 videos. Is there any last thing you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me as a guest, B-Physicist and Sensei Buddha. Thank you guys for letting me have on film for a little bit. It's been a pleasure. It's been a blessing talking to the community about in hindsight.
Okay.
Show here. We're starting off here. It's only gonna get bigger and better. So catch the movement before you get left behind. Even though we always welcome you anyway.
All right. Well, all right, Mr. Suave. If you care to tell us, how can people get in touch with you if they want to send you an email, troll you, hate mail, whatever. Your social media,
Those,
IG.
when I come off a 007 status, I'll update y'all on that.
Okay, all right, all right. So I guess people just have to catch you when they catch you, huh? All right.
We're gonna keep the mysteries in the law. So you find out about Suave when Suave comes on.
All right. All right. Well, again, thank you for coming on, Mr. Suave, and giving the commentary on these videos. Again, the name of the show, the podcast show, is Hindsight. And of course, the saying hindsight is always 2020. So, we critique and comment on things after the fact because, as a wise man once said, smart people learn from their mistakes and wise people learn from the mistakes of others. So let's keep learning from everyone's mistakes so we can get wiser.
I like it.
All right. Thank you and take care.
All right, brother.